Imagine being the year 1995 and you're watching Toy Story in theaters. You are a rival company to Disney and your rival company to Pixar. You're DreamWorks, and you see this movie and you're like, what if we can do it better, but with live action? So you decide to make a movie in 1998 called Small Soldiers. And at the premise of the movie, seemed like a good idea. You know, two toys fighting each other. One toy is like trying to destroy the other. The other one's a pacifist, and they just want to learn and get back home. It makes complete sense until you realize that the tone of the movie doesn't match exactly what the movie is made for and who they're made for. And you get a movie that is surprisingly good, surprisingly fun, and also bad in some sense as well. But it's a kids movie that doesn't hit well in the box office, and the movie gets swept underneath the rug in the year 2026. But guess what? We're lifting the rug and we're going to talk about Small Soldiers 1998. So, Small Soldiers. This movie, for me, I watched it a lot as a kid. I enjoyed this movie. The movie was fun for me. Watched it, had the toys and everything. From Chip Hazard to Archer, I had them all. But going back and taking a look down memory lane, take a little bit of a nostalgia dip, and kind of find out this movie is actually not as good as I thought it was as an adult, which is fair. You know, 7-year-old Ali and having the time of his life watching Small Soldiers. 33-year-old Ali's kind of like, I see why I enjoyed this, but at the same time, the movie doesn't really make sense at all in certain bits and pieces, and I really thought this was a masterpiece growing up. Small Soldiers, 1998 is an hour and 50-minute movie, and really, like I mentioned, it's about two different factions trying to, well, one is trying to destroy the other, and anybody who helps that side really is considered an enemy to that group. So, how this happens, you have a military manufacturing company that manufactures weapons and missiles for the military called Global Tech take over a toy producing company. Well, you have two guys, Erwin and Larry, who are told to present to the CEO of a new toy to sell to kids. And when Erwin produces like his group and shows his group, which are the Gorgonites, which is a bunch of pacifists or monsters who enjoy learning, and their purpose is to teach kids how to learn. Well, the CEO said, bump that. I don't care about learning. Learning for schools, learning for nerds. I want action. I want entertainment. I want something to suck these kids in and have them stuck every single day, watching over and over again Toy Story 5 with electronics. I want a play version of a PS5. I want that, but I want them to play back with the kids. And then Larry shows them a guy, a military soldier named Chip Hazard, who punches a bag. Who is your Buzz Lightyear? He punches the box and gets out the box. And the CEO's like, that right there, I want that. But you have 3 months to get this made. Okay, so Larry and Erwin, they're working on how to get this produced, and Larry decided to use microchips from the military that are designed for military war to put these chips designed for war and battle and destruction in these toys. All right, well, the toys are programmed because based off what they are, the Gorgonites are programmed to learn and adapt, and the commandos, elite commandos, which is what the Chip Hazard and his group are called, they are designed to destroy the Gorgonites and eliminate all enemies. Well, what do you have when you have a pacifist and somebody who is an aggressor? Well, the pacifist is going to try to run and the aggressor is going to try to follow. But then you need somebody to step in to help the pacifist defeat the aggressors. And that's exactly what happens. So these toys are made, manufactured, mass produced. And Alan, a kid at his dad's toy store who, one, looks like Tobey Maguire, a young Tobey Maguire, and Kristen Dunst, who's also in this, who is from Spider-Man, the Raimi series. This is a young Kristen Dunst with Alan. Alan gets the toys from the delivery driver. He's like, hey, these are not out yet. These are about to be produced, but you can have them for, you know, a deal in a sense. So Alan asking like, hey, it has nothing ever fell off your truck. And the guy who's friends with Alan, his dad's like, bro, I don't want to do this, but all right, let's do this. So he hands him the toys. They sign off on it. put the toys in the store. His dad has an old-timey store, like all old toys. Toys are like trains and model trains and stuff that you can build and put together, like that kind of stuff, model stuff. Well, now you have these action figures with the product, by the way, the product placement for these action figures in this store against the wall. Alan's like, okay, cool. Kristen Dunst comes in. Kristen Dunst's little brother, she sees Archer and Chip Hazard fighting each other, and he's like, I want that. And he goes tell Kristen about this. Kristen's like, asshole, well, can we have that toy? And Alan's like, no, you can't have that toy. You can't, like, one, they're not even released yet. So he tells her maybe later or come back, but not right now. And he takes Archer home and put him in his bag, but Chip Hazard he puts back in the box. All right, cool beans. Well, Chip Hazard later that night breaks out the box, get the other elite commandos awake, and they decide to wreak havoc on the store and destroy the store. Meanwhile, Archer is at home with Alan, and he's going through Alan's computer and looking for everything that he can find, learns about all of history, and finds Yosemite Park, and he says that's Gorgon. Alan sees this. Alan's like, what the heck you doing? Alan and Archer become friends, best of buddies, after Alan tells Archer, you're smarter than what you think you are. Let me know you're trying to pretend to be something else, but no, you're actually smart. And they have a bond and connection. Alan goes back to the store the next day and sees the store completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. So Alan's like, how does this happen? And the reason why this is important to Alan is because his dad, Kevin Dunn, left Alan in charge of the store for like a day. Like he was going on a work trip, so he left him in charge of the store for like a day. Alan let the store get destroyed, so he thinks the toys are stolen because the Gorgonites are gone, and also the elite commandos are gone. See, like these toys cost about $80 a pop back in 1998, and they are gone. Okay, and also to give you an idea of how much money that is, a PlayStation 1 cost about $120 back then. So these toys are like equivalent to about $400 to $300 in today's money. When a PS5 costs $500, $499. And that thing, those toys are about $40 cheaper than a console in 1998. That shows you they're a lot of money. It's about $300 or $200 to $300 worth of a toy. So these things are really expensive. Anyway, Alan sees this. Alan's like, my dad's gonna kill me. I gotta figure a way to get out of this. Kristen Dunst comes back to the store and sees what's going on with Alan. She helps Alan pick up the store and everything. And then Kristen's like, well, she's kind of flirting with Alan. Alan's like, oh, you're kind of cool, but I really don't know. You really shouldn't mess with you kind of thing. Kristen also has a boyfriend, which that's the whole thing. Anyway, she sees this. She's like really like attracted to Alan and telling Alan, no, like, you know, you're that kid who, you know, got in trouble and kicked from school. And Alan's like, well, I did a fire hazard kind of thing and pretend to be a fire alarm instead of the fire drill. Anyway, it's really unreportant to the story. That's why he's in charge of watching the store, because he got grounded. So he's like, my dad will never trust me again. So he goes back home, and as he's going back home, the elite commando sees Alan with Archer, and they try to attack Alan on a bike. However, they can't succeed because Alan doesn't pay attention, and one of the guys get cut off. Now he does the Wilhelm scream, and I'm like, first time. Okay, it's acknowledgable. Hey, the Wilhelm scream. That's not the first time that screen will be used in the movie. It's actually used another time, maybe a third time. And you know, if you watch my 2.0 review, you know how I feel about the Wilhelm screen. One time, fine. I love it. Acknowledgement. You know, tip to the person who did it. Second time, we're getting a little out of hand here. You know, third time, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. Why we're doing it so many times. But it's fine. It's fine. This is the first time you hear it. You will hear it again. And I think the movie only has 2. If it had 3, I will probably end the review and say call it a day. But anyway, keep it going. So the elite commandos find out where Alan lives, and they decide to kidnap Archer throughout the night. Alan wakes up, puts a stop to that. They're going to put Archer in the garbage disposal. They're going to drop him in there. Well, actually, Nick Nitro gets put in there because Alan picks up Nick Nitro. Nick Nitro like throws like a jab at him, like talking trash. And Alan's like, "Oh, really? You're just a toy." Throws him in there and pretty much fries his legs. And this movie has death in it because Nick Nitro gets out and he gets back to the Elite Commandos who are in the garage. And he's like, "I'm sorry, Chip Hazard, I couldn't do this. I failed you guys." And Chip Hazard like, "It's okay. Rest in peace, easy soldier. You did your job." It's a really sad scene in this movie. And how did Nick Nitro get away from Alan? His dad, Kevin Dunn from Transformers, his mom comes downstairs and they're like, What are you doing here? Why are you down here? Are you messing with drugs?" And they're like, "No, I'm not. This is a real thing." And like the toys are talking and Archer doesn't say anything. Archer goes silent because Alan told Archer to shut up earlier and don't say anything. And after that happens, Alan asks Archer, "Why didn't you speak?" And he's like, "You told me to shut up. So I did. That's your fault. That one's on you, brother. That one's on you." And like, okay, well, they get another understanding of each other. So they're trying to figure out where the rest of the Gorgonites are at. And they find out that when Alan talked to Archer, Archer said something about Gorgonites like to hide. He's like, hiding, safety. They're in the trash can. Mind you, this is like a few days. So therefore, it's not a whole week. Because if it was a whole week, that'd been a problem. Those toys are tossed in the garbage can somewhere in a landfill. No, they were hiding in the garbage dumpster behind the building. He gets them, brings them back home, and the Gorgonites are together. Well, the Commando Elite sees this. They're like, all right, we need to figure out a way to get to them. So what they do, they decide to use the chip that's in Nick Nitro, put it inside Kristen Dunst's American Barbie dolls, and make all of them turn into like weaponized, deformed weapons. And like, I mean, they staple their heads together. They like, it's really some really bad gross body horror here for toys. And they look demented. Mind you, they say it's alive. They're referencing Frankenstein in this movie when they do that. Also, the movie Gremlins is also tip to this movie or not in this movie as well, acknowledging this movie about what's going on, because the screenwriter or the director worked on Gremlins. They love horror movies, so this movie has a tone of horror in it as well. It'll be a kid's movie. Imagine watching this as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid, and you're seeing American Barbie dolls get turned into just destructive Frankenstein-esque monsters with like face pulled back, eye popped out, like really tormented. And they're saying stuff like, "Oh, you like to be my boyfriend? Oh, I can cut your hair. Oh, I can make you look good. Or, you don't want to mess with me." They're saying like out of pocket things to these kids. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So the American Barbie dolls here, I keep saying American Barbie dolls, but just the Barbie dolls here, they decide to attack Kristen Dunst and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend gets out, he runs. She's terrifying. You never see the kid again. Kristen is like, okay, cool. Alan comes and saves her. She goes to like straight battle mode and starts kicking her own toys' butts. Like, it is very, very like character flip. Don't know what her direction is. She's kicking these toys' butts. Alan's like, okay, well, she doesn't really need help. We got her out of here. Mind you, how did Alan find out that she was in trouble? Chip Hazard sent a videotape with a bow and arrow with a suction cup on it through the window, almost killed one of the Gorgonites, with this tape on here that's telling her, like, as a ransom note, like, come save me, I'm held hostage. And he's directing her how to do it. Like, yes, make her cry. Good, good. Got some good stuff here. I'm like, what is going on with these toys? Mind you, these toys are like, I don't know, a foot tall. Like, you can destroy these things. They're not that tall. Like, you can really just kick them and keep going. But whatever the case may be, these toys are smart enough where they decide to manufacture with tools and different types of hardware to turn into like a razor gun, a flamethrower, a lawnmower rolling, like they use the lawnmower to move as a tank. Like, these things are destructive. And Alan and Kristen Dunst are fighting these toys and get into a neighborhood. They shoot down a power pole. They shoot down a bunch of other stuff, causing like destruction left and right. Nobody in the neighborhood is acknowledging this, by the way. Like, nobody's hearing anything. Nobody's hearing like cars getting shot off and nothing like that. Cars getting shot down with staple guns, nothing like that. Kristen and Alan gets away from the elite commandos by like having them self-implode. They use a go-kart. They get over a ditch with like water in it. They hit the ditch. The elite commando hit the ditch and just explode. And I'm like, Michael Bay really loves this movie because I swear to God, she's using this stuff in Transformers. He's using Kevin Dunn, who's the dad of Alan, who's dad Shia LaBeouf, and Sam Witwicky in Transformers. The same stuff is happening. Destroying houses, getting out of stuff. Electronic turns into monsters. Just like in Small Soldiers happens in Transformers, and there's explosion left and right. Michael Bay saw this movie as a young 20-something-year-old man and was like, that's it. This is the movie I'm making when I get older. I'm making this this will be my magnus opus. Transformers gonna be my Small Soldiers, because cars are toys to some people. Change those cars into elite sentient robots. Toys get changed to elite sentient robots. Boom. This movie is Transformers before Transformers came out. Just saying. In a way. So, Alan and Kirsten think they got rid of the elite commandos for good. Well, Chip Hazard is still alive. The main Chip Hazard. And he finds a bunch more elite commandos and decide to get a giant army and attack Alan for one giant frontal attack. Also, I just realized they're called the Commando Elites, not Elite Commandos. So Chip Hazard, the main bad guy, pulls up with the rest, or I guess the main antagonist. Because if you're playing with this as a toy, and you're a kid, you're thinking the Commando Elites are the actual good guys, and the Gorgonites are the bad guys, because they're monsters. But the Gorgonites are actually not the antagonists; they just want to live a peaceful life. But the Commando Elites are like, we're taking out everybody who sympathizes with these Gorgonites, and they're got a whole army. I mean, Chip Hazard found a warehouse full of them ready for deployment, and he gets them and gets them on out, and they all go and fight Alan and Kirsten Dunst and their family, which Kevin Dunn now believes his son. Also, Larry and Irwin shows up because Alan early in the movie calls the toy production company and it's like, hey, you guys made these toys that are attacking and destroying, my dad's store. Y'all destroyed my dad's toy store. We need a refund. And she's like, whatever. The lady talking to him was like, whatever. Okay, I'll put an auto machine on. And Alan tells everything. Larry and Irwin hears this. They go find Alan's place. And so they talk to Alan and like, no, these toys are legit. And the Gorgonites are sitting there like, yeah, hey, we are legit. And they're like, what the heck? Kristen and Alan's parents are like, what is going on here? So, as they come to the realization that these toys are sentient and are destructive, the Commando Elites are outside and they are using the Spice Girls to try to use, guerrilla warfare and mental warfare to try to keep them awake so that way they can destroy them overnight. Whatever. The adult's like, all right, you playing Spice Girls? Do you want to be my lover? Gotta get with my friends? Like, all right, whatever. They go to war pretty much. The elite commandos are attacking the humans. The humans are fighting back. Alan's mom is directing traffic left and right. They are getting hit with fireballs, tennis fireballs. They're getting hit with staple guns. They're getting hit with a bunch of random different things. Chip Hazard at one point gets a helicopter and he's going around shooting at them. A big battle ensues, and Alan and the rest of the guys are like, hey, we can destroy them all. We just need a surge an EMP surge big enough to knock them all out, because they all have chips in them. So we just need to pretty much knock them all out. Which there's a power surge, I get a transformer, no pun intended, a transformer in the back of the yard, and we get there, we blow the circuit and knock them all out. Cool beans. And as Alan trying to climb this, Chip Hazard up there trying to fight on. Archer's like, hey, Gorgonites, we need to take a stand. So they jump into the fray, fight the elite commandos, the Commando Elites. Archer faces off against Chip Hazard. So this is a big fight. Optimus Prime versus Megatron. And Archer's like, we're designed to learn. And Chip Hazard goes, we're designed to destroy you. And my thought process was like, who wrote this? Why is that the talking point? Why is that the talking point? The big battle, the big moment, Archer versus Chip Hazard, the face-off again, match 2, rematch, the once in a lifetime fight of the century, comes down to we're designed to learn. Whatever. Archer gets his butt kicked. Now I'm just like, we're designed to adapt. I don't know, probably a better thing. Designed to learn is just not, I don't know. He lost. He lost. And then Alan turns around, grabs Chip Hazard, and he uses him as the piece to explode the transformer and cause the circuit breaker and knock out all the Commando elites. And I sat there just like, okay. So the movie comes to its conclusion here. The Commandos elites are destroyed, and everybody's upset until the CEO of Global Tech shows up, and everybody's mad about it. Everybody's like, you can't do this to us. Your toy destroyed the property. Your toy destroyed my life. He's like, here's a check. Boom. And everybody's like, well, that's good for me. Here's a check. Boom. That one's good for me. Here's a check. Wow, you can't. Like, what? Kevin Dunn legit tells the CEO, like, you can't cover all this. You can't. There's no way we can get this back. And he goes, here's a check. And he's like, maybe you can. Okay, then. By the way, the most realistic thing for a movie ever, like, the CEO doesn't take any damages. He just pretty much just says, hey, here's a check, writes it off. Everybody's happy. Everybody goes home. They get the damages repaired. And then he looks at Larry and Irwin and is like, these toys cause all this damage? Hey, we can use them as military toys to fight off in wars. You might make some big money here. So Irwin and Larry get the repercussion for which Larry did it, for putting the hips in the robot or in the toys. So he gets no repercussions. The adults get no repercussions. Nobody gets any punishment in this movie. And then Kristen, she pretty much makes Alan her boyfriend. Her ex-boyfriend, her current boyfriend doesn't know that he's been dumped. Not at all. Like, legit, the movie just ends, and then Alan takes the Gorgonites to Yosemite Park, and he puts them on the ship that his dad had at the store. It's like a little boat. Puts them on a little boat and just let them go off down the river, and that's the movie. That is the movie. And the whole time, I'm sitting here thinking, like, what's the plot? What's the point? Like, I get it. It's a kid's movie. 1000%. And you just sometimes just need action. Throw it on, have a fun time. Like, nobody really learned a lesson in this movie. Not a single soul. Not one person learned that, like, maybe I shouldn't be a dick. Maybe I shouldn't be a bad person. Because, like, even the neighbor, Fimple, he legit just did whatever he wanted to do. He decided to cut down a tree that's in Alan's yard because he didn't like the fact that it was messing with his satellite. Like, what? Like, bro, what are we doing here? The movie, at the end of the day, there was no conclusion, really. Like, it's just a movie you throw on. The neighborhood didn't care. Nobody cared. It's a movie you throw on, and there's nothing, like, the Gorgonites says about learning. But the Gorgonites, when it came down to fighting at the end, got their butts kicked. Like, they end up hiding so they can get destroyed. So they kind of stalled the Commando elites, but they had moments, but, like, Archer legit lost to Chip Hazard. So the main antagonist won in the final battle, and then because the humans are there, they technically lost. And all I could think was, like, what's the point? I don't know. The movie has a lot of horror tone in it. It had a lot of, like, visual horror as well, and a lot of things that were, like, as a kid, you wouldn't catch until you're an adult. You're like, oh, that's what's going on there. Like, Chip Hazard drugs 2 human beings, like, put them out, knock them out while they sneak into their house and decide to like torment these Barbie dolls and make them to murder machines. Like, what is going on here? The movie has a lot of licensed music. This is the first time when I was growing up, heard Queen, Another One Bites the Dust. Boy, what is it good for? It's played played at least one time in the movie. Matter of fact, it played the time when they're chasing down Alan and Kristen Dunst. They're actually not on a go-kart. They're actually in a bicycle or something like that, and they finally get away. But, like, they play that song there. A lot of licensed music used in this movie. Like, this movie was, to me, I think DreamWorks really thought it was going to knock it out the park. But just because the movie was designed to be like an action flick for kids and it being a horror body movie, the movie tone is kind of like mixed, and people have mixed reactions to it. The movie did make $87 million when it came out. Let's see here, because the budget of the movie was $40 million and it made $87.5 million. So it didn't really do that well, but it also didn't really like crash. It's only produced and only like showed in America and Canada. So, but yeah, like DreamWorks wanted to make their Toy Story, and it just didn't land as their Toy Story. So there's that. So grading time. What I will give Small Soldiers as is a kids movie at the end of the day that also doesn't deliver as a kids movie. Try to make something for adults as well. Like there's adult humor in this, adult content in this as well. Not like heavy adult content, just like things that an adult would get. So like probably like a family movie, but it doesn't really land in a sense. Because imagine watching a movie where you're thinking like this is Toy Story but live action, and you get body horror and like destructive and things were like, oh my gosh, this toy is just trying to slice a human in half. Like, what is going on here? The toy is cutting human faces, and like that doesn't really land well when you're trying to say like, hey, this will be a kid's family movie. Like, I don't watch Toy Story and see Woody trying to cut Andy in half. Like, that's not happening. Zork is not trying to cut Buzz Lightyear in half and like split his blood and guts out. Like, that's not happening. So it was like they were trying to hit Toy Story, but just didn't let the mark. I'm going to give Small Soldier because it is still a fun movie. You're going to have fun. If you're watching this movie, you're going to have a good time. Especially you don't go in a movie thinking it's going to be like this greatest masterpiece. You're going to have a good time. Small Soldiers from 1998 is going to get a C- for me, a 70%. I thought it was fun. It was a fun movie. It's not the worst movie out there. It's not the like best movie out there. It's an average movie that if they really hit the tone right, and they were gonna go with horror, they should have went full horror. If they're gonna go with action family friendly, they should have went full action family friendly. They did a mixture of both. There's some dad jokes in here. There's some comedy here, left and right. Sometimes the dialogue is not the best. It's really cheesy. And the CGI at certain points in time in the movie doesn't hold up. When they're using like the toy puppets, great. They should have kept doing that, but there's time when they did CGI and it just doesn't hold up. But that's fine. That's fine. It still looks good. And yeah, you know, it's a fun movie. I will say that. I at least have fun watching it back again. So I'm gonna give Small Soldier a C-, a 70%. So a C out of A through F, middle of the road there. If you guys seen Small Soldier for 1998, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode of Ali Reviews, and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of the video. I appreciate that too. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let your friends and family know about this series. Also, you can watch more episodes here and on Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka. For $2 a month, you get to watch new episodes of Ali Reviews and Ali Plays before they come out on YouTube. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode, and keep being awesome.